Today, January 3rd, 2024, is the 15th birthday of the Bitcoin network. That means that the very first Bitcoin transaction occurred on January 3rd, 2009. Although Bitcoins had zero value at that time, a single Bitcoin now has become worth over $40,000, and some of the world's largest financial institutions, such as Black Rock, Fidelity, and Franklin Templeton, are preparing to offer Bitcoin ETFs, an investment vehicle that will make it easy for everyday investors to get exposed to the price of Bitcoin. The total value of all Bitcoins in existence, known as its market capitalization, is greater than $800 billion. Bitcoin has become known as digital gold because it will eventually have a capped supply of 21 million coins, similar to how gold is scarce in supply. So how did this obscure asset, based on a technology that had never before been used, go from being unknown and worthless in early 2009 to one of the hottest investments of 2024? On October 31st, 2008, in the midst of the great financial crisis, a pseudonymous person or group named Satoshi Nakamoto sent the Bitcoin white paper to the cypherpunk mailing list, which was, quote, devoted to cryptographic technology and its political impact. Titled Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, the white paper detailed what Bitcoin was and how it could work. Nakamoto proposed a way for one party to send electronic cash to the other party without going through a bank or central authority, all while ensuring that no Bitcoin was spent more than once, which, until Bitcoin came along, had been an unsolvable conundrum. A few months later, after sending the white paper to the cypherpunk mailing list, on January 3rd, 2009, Nakamoto mined the very first Bitcoin block, also known as the Genesis block. At first, the blockchain limped along with just a small number of hobbyists and enthusiasts keeping the software going. In November 2009, a forum called Bitcoin Talk launched. For the next few years, this is where much of the Bitcoin community congregated, with some popular Bitcoin lingo being christened here, such as HODL, where a drunken Bitcoin Talk user made a typo. On May 22, 2010, for the first time, Bitcoins were exchanged for physical goods, when on Bitcoin Talk, Laszlo Hanyes offered to pay someone 10,000 Bitcoins in exchange for 2 pizzas. In July of that year, the first major global Bitcoin exchange, Mt. Gox, launched. Over the next couple years, it would grow to handle more than 70% of all Bitcoin trades. In February 2011, the online darknet marketplace Silk Road launched. At this point, Bitcoins began being used more regularly to pay for goods, though in this case, it was for illicit goods, such as illegal drugs. The popularity of Silk Road powered the first run-ups in price, with a brief bubble from $10 to $30 in June 2011, after Gawker published an article about Silk Road. Though the price collapsed again to $2 that fall, it eventually rose up to over $30 by March 2012, and then in the span of 5 weeks, skyrocketed up to more than $150 by April 7th. Though it faltered down again to $75 that summer, the asset showed just how volatile it could be. That May, Coinbase, a new Bitcoin wallet, launched. Later on, it would become an exchange known for how incredibly simple the company made it to buy Bitcoin. In the fall of 2013, Bitcoin experienced its first major global bubble, with the price breaching $1,000 for the first time. Though it seemed like a moment of validation, in February 2014, Mt. Gox, by then the biggest Bitcoin exchange worldwide, revealed it had been subject to a hack and had lost hundreds of thousands of Bitcoins. At that point, the bubble burst and the industry went through a new low period, with the price dropping to about $200 in January 2015. But some tech-forward investors and entrepreneurs still thought Bitcoin had potential. In September 2015, Cathie Wood's ARK Invest put Bitcoin into its Web X.0 ETF. However, in 2016, the Bitcoin community argued over certain technical decisions, and yet another exchange suffered a big hack. Despite all that, the community slowly started to rebuild. In May 2017, at what was then the largest blockchain conference, Abby Johnson, CEO of Fidelity, announced that the financial services giant was interested in Bitcoin. That fall, Bitcoin experienced yet another bubble, with the price approaching $20,000 for the first time. But for the next 2 years, the price languished until the start of the coronavirus pandemic sparked a crash known as Black Thursday, during which the price of Bitcoin lost almost half its value to below $5,000. Although it seemed that Bitcoin had not proven to be a safe haven as some had theorized, some companies turned to it as a store of value, beginning with MicroStrategy CEO Michael Saylor, who in August 2020 directed the publicly traded company to purchase Bitcoin as an asset for its balance sheet. Soon, that set off a trend amongst some publicly traded companies to buy Bitcoin for their balance sheets, with Tesla, Square, and others joining. In April 2021, Coinbase, which by then had 43 million users, went public on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange. Due in part to economic stimulus by governments to offset the financial hit of the pandemic, investors now had more appetite for riskier investments such as tech stocks and Bitcoin. That November, Bitcoin reached a new all-time high, above $67,000. But the party was short-lived, as multiple crypto collapses in 2022 created a black eye for the industry. A year after it reached its all-time high, in November 2022, Bitcoin hit a low after the previous high, falling from $21,000 on November 6th to a bit more than $16,000 within a few days. However, as we've seen in Bitcoin time and again, new interest has come back. In January 2023, ordinals inscriptions, a new type of NFT on the Bitcoin blockchain, launched. They sparked the rise of so-called BRC20 coins, which are meme coins on the Bitcoin blockchain. All this has caused transaction fees to go up on Bitcoin, which is a symbol of demand on the Bitcoin blockchain. As this organic activity increased, Black Rock, the world's largest asset manager, applied for approval to launch a spot Bitcoin ETF, lending legitimacy to the notion. Soon, a number of issuers had applied. As of press time, 13 issuers are in the running, and the signs from the SEC seem to be positive to serious watchers. The anticipation has pushed the price of Bitcoin back up to above $40,000. It's been quite the 15-year ride for Bitcoin. Excited to see where the next 15 years takes the world's first digital asset. Happy birthday, Bitcoin! What other major events in Bitcoin do you think are worth noting? Let us know in the comments.